What company will you never give your money to? Young Living doTERRA Sensi. My grandma absolutely hates Walmart. She's always talking about growing up, her town was all small business and everyone knew one another and supported their local businesses. Shein. Any Kardashian-Jenner related companies? I would say Nestle, but they are an octopus of malice that have their tentacles in every fucking thing. It's really hard to not buy something and accidentally give them money. Shine. The products are so cheaply made, and all their designs are stolen from small businesses. And worst of all, child labor. Amway. Adobe, they f***ing make you pay a subscription for color, which was free on the last update. FIFA. What is something that is really popular now, but in 5 years everyone will look back on and be embarrassed by? Posting pictures of you crying online. The fuckboy broccoli haircut. Every single TikTok trend and phrase. TikTok hopefully. The sad girl crying trend. This strange resurgence of early 2000s fashion. You know what I'm talking about. Fake mental illness. Saying that slapped or that slaps. Now I know how adults felt when I said word. Recording yourself crying and putting it on social media. Vaping. I hope. Acting like a victim. Being a Ye fanboy. Paying $8 for a blue check mark. NFTs. Huge fake eyelashes. Kanye. Facebook and all the stupidity on it. Neopronouns. TikTok. Elon Musk owning Twitter. TikTok. Everything that is trendy now. Lads in the UK with perms. Fidget spinners. Facebook and Twitter. The music they are listening to. What actor actress plays themselves in every movie? Danny McBride. Stan Lee. P stuff. Jason Statham isn't himself, but he's always the same guy. Jennifer Lopez played Selena, and then she was just J.Lo in everything else. Kevin Hart, The Rock. Michelle Rodriguez as a tough girl in every movie. Hector. I think some of these actors are very capable of different roles, but if they're making bank playing the same kind of characters then they're obviously gonna milk it for as long as they can. I feel like I'll get raked over the coals for this, but Jennifer Coolidge. I love her, but she always plays some sort of variation of herself. Mark Wahlberg with his question statement self. Ryan Reynolds. Men of Reddit, what is love? When you feel like you're home. When you know that the other person deserves the best and you want to be that. Love is not giving up when things get difficult. Love is investing your time in someone. Giving someone the power to destroy you and trusting them not to. Well, it's a feedback loop. The two of you should be constantly reciprocating affection, appreciation, and services. Sex isn't a service BTW, that's supposed to be affection at its highest form. Putting your partner before yourself and taking satisfaction in the knowledge they know they can depend on you in any given situation, but there are so many different kinds of love. I love my dog for his innocence, I love my wife for about 20 different reasons. I gotta go to work now, baby don't hurt me. Redditors making $100,000 or more. What do you do that make you earn more than $100,000 a year and how long did it take you to get there? Doctor. I'm finishing up residency so I'm making around $70,000 a year, but I've been interviewing for jobs and expected salary would range from $280,000 to $350,000 with bonuses depending on work efficiency. Overall, took 4 years of undergraduate, 1 gap year doing research, 4 years of medical school, 3 years of residency. 12 years total starting from undergraduate. Now if I could just get rid of the $500,000 in student loans. What celebrity can you simply not stand, even if everyone else likes them? Jennifer Lopez. I'll watch some of her movies. I'll listen to some of her songs, but she's a mediocre actress and a mediocre singer. She's aged well and has style, but she's a narcissistic shit human being. Jesus, these comments are nothing but people who are widely disliked, even if popular. Oh wow, you hate the Kardashians. So bold. Fuck that. I came here to see people tell me why they hate Dave Grohl or Keanu. Drake. Nick Cannon. Dude. Stop with the kids already. Oprah Winfrey, something about her just seriously irritates me. Beyoncé. People seem to worship her, but she's just someone with a good head for business and mediocre pop music. Goddamn Ryan Seacrest. How is he relevant? Seacrest out, what a douche. What does Europe have that North America does not? Wild hedgehogs. 50 Hertz electrical. Neanderthal fossils. Wild hedgehogs and nightingales. Explosive ordnance hiding under rocks, inside trees, buried just under the surface. Every few years you hear about someone in Europe finding a grenade or a bomb with sometimes disastrous, sometimes hilarious results. Unexploded ordnance from 2 world wars. Georgia X200 VO weight. Boobs in shampoo commercials. That €1 I dropped that one time on vacation. Tons of really old buildings. So many people here forgetting that Canada and Mexico are also on the North American continent. The Matterhorn. Multi-opening windows. Tax inclusion in prices. I still don't understand that about American stores. Edit. Thank you for all the replies and explanations. Conclusion. Government bad? Also screwcoals apparently lol. Americans of Reddit, what would you do if the United States were invaded? Get Florida man hopped up on bath salts and let him run rampant through the enemy lines. It'd be like watching a crazed Wendigo tear people limb from limb. Watch all the tax dollars I have paid for the past 20 years go to work. We'd still be going to work, because when it's over, rent is still due at the first of the month and food doesn't buy itself. Probably work from home that day, traffic would be a bitch. So anyway, I started blastin'. If it's advanced interglacial aliens? Get blasted I guess if it's another country? Watch my taxes go to work. Rudy Tooty point and shooty. I just hope both sides have fun out there. I know I'm probably a little biased here, but we're essentially defended on both sides by mountains and angry rednecks who have spent multiple generations hoping and praying someone would be dumb enough to attack. Continue with my day. It would last about 7 minutes. What are some red flags in an interview that reveals the job is toxic? When I mentioned a company's dismal Glassdoor evaluations, they became so enraged that they ended the interview. Well, I suppose I escaped that danger. An interviewer tried to convince me to lowball myself after I said what I'd accept as a minimum salary, which was in their offer range from the posting. If we pay you more, you wouldn't get a bonus at the end of the year, and you'd be really upset when everyone else got one. What he was able to offer salary-wise was $10,000 below their posted range. We'll start you at minimum and reevaluate in a month. This actually happened to me. Interviewer, do you have any questions for us? Me, what is a challenge this department has recently faced? Interviewer, job security. The interviewer keeps telling you how fortunate you are to be there, like they are doing you a favor by giving you the job. People who get out of bed quickly when they wake up, what's your secret? I don't think about it. That sounds insane and not helpful, but I built the habit of immediately getting out of bed when the alarm goes off. If I get up and out before I have a moment to think about the fact that it's ringing and I don't want to get up, then it's easier to do. I do the same thing for chores. If I just start doing it before I have a chance to think about it, it's easier to keep going. I set my alarm to the last possible minute. No time to dally. Put the alarm in a place where you have to get out of bed to turn it off with the volume all the way up. Don't get back in bed. Have to pee. My dogs urgent need to pee. I have cats. They will make sure I'm awake and then they work together to make my remaining in bed an untenable option. Stopped using snooze. Now I am just totally awake when it's time to get up. Plus, I get up at the same time every day. What are the downsides of marijuana use? I'm actually taking a break from smoking pot. The downside of it for me was I started getting anxiety attacks a lot more, and I wasn't properly dealing with my eating disorder. I would smoke so I could eat instead of actually using the skills I learned while in treatment. I've found myself not feeling emotionally and mentally connected to my body and myself, so I need a break. For me, severe paranoia. Used to be able to smoke for years, then one day basically overnight anytime I smoke I get paranoid and end up having a massive panic attack. What city is extremely overrated in your opinion? Miami. A city of narcissists and attention whores. Dubai, Miami. Seen as the holy land for vacations here in Latin America, but in reality it is just so meh. I don't know if anyone but children and retirees actually like this city, but Law and I hate Orlando. Nothing personal, but Dubai. And I'm not a city designer, but I don't think you call it a downtown when there's a 12-lane highway cutting through a bunch of skyscraper walls and that's it. Pisa was a bit of a letdown. Myrtle Beach. Tourists act like it's the damn Bahamas. Vegas. Nashville. My former employer was headquartered there and so I went frequently. It seems like if you don't like drinking or country music, you're kind of out of it. Wasn't that walkable and no real nice parks with trails, etc. I greatly appreciate that anyone saying Chicago is getting downvoted. What is a popular misconception about self-defense? Self-defense stops when the attacker is down out. If you shoot a person threatening you with a gun and then proceed to double tap them when they're down, you'll lose the self-defense aspect and move towards assault territory. Same thing happens with a fist fight. If I put you down on the ground, I can't come over and just start kicking the shit out of you since the initial threat has been neutralized. A 1-hour self-defense seminar will do fuck all for you. It requires a lot of time and energy to commit the techniques to muscle memory. Also, they must be practiced in a live setting against a resisting opponent. That you can defend yourself. Parents of Reddit, what is the most unsettling thing you have seen your child do? My son walked into the room butt naked holding a pair of scissors and asked why his younger sister didn't have a penis. He never explicitly said he was thinking of performing surgery on himself, but we kept a close eye on him for a few weeks and hid all the scissors. When we finally told my oldest, then 3, I was pregnant, he stopped and grabbed my stomach intently. He thought for a moment and then said, "And we don't stab the baby with knives?" Correct, child. My youngest slipped and fell in the shower when she was 8. She broke her 2 front teeth. Fast forward to last year, she told my wife and I that she did it on purpose. She was intending to break her arm so she could get sympathy from her friends at school. People who are pro-gun. Why? Because I had a crazy man threaten to kill my family repeatedly. Not taking chances. They are a useful tool for my work. In black. When I was younger living with my parents in a sketchy neighborhood, my house got broken into and the only reason the intruder left was because my dad pulled out the gun he had under the bed. It's for protection. Survivor of domestic violence. I believe in protection. I'm a female that lives alone. My neighbor 1985 was pro-gun because he watched his family get loaded into boxcars and sent to Auschwitz. He was sent to a work camp and was the only one in his family to survive. My people were bombed and machine-gunned in the mine wars. I'm very pro-Second Amendment. My family also has a farm that's far from town. Goes without saying, my family hunts. Guns help feed us. The deer limit gives us meat all winter. What do you wish you were snacking on right now? Cashew nuts, hands down the best nut in the world and much better than D's nuts. The sweet, salty crunch of a stable economy. Doritos. Those little rye crisp things you find in Chex Mix. They look like little round pieces of toast. Sour cream and onion chips. Salty snacks at night are the best. Sour cream onion Pringles. My ex. Chocolate. Popcorn. Something wet, juicy and that squirts. Cake. I could go for some of what my mom called tiger meat. Thin slices of sirloin steak from the night before fried in butter. With seasoned salt. Wiener Schnitzel. Honey Nut Cheerios. Blue Crab Claws. Taki Waves. They're the best kind of Takis. Spam musubi. Sydney Sweeney. Dates. Big Mac with extra mac sauce. Human remains. Human flesh. Ideally with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. People who are still practicing social distancing, what is your reasoning? I was practicing social distancing before it was cool. And before it was mandated. Don't want to be close to people. Get the fuck out of my personal space. People, who are so comfortable breathing down others' necks, what's your issue? Several reasons. 1. I've always had a personal bubble. 2. People annoy me. 3. I've seen how nasty people are not washing their hands, putting their hands in their mouths, noses, coughing on them and then touching everything. I don't want your colds, germs, or fluids anywhere near me. 4. I don't get colds, I go straight to bronchitis level coughing and it lasts for weeks. It's miserable and no doctors can figure out why, so I'd rather not get sick. I fucking hate people. Why the hell is this my most popular comment? Lol. In 40 years, what will people be nostalgic for? Privacy. Back in my day, a loaf of bread only cost $3. Being able to use water whenever or however much they wanted to. Having siblings. Phew, in the next 40 years, the world population is expected to decline and families will have at most 2 child, but usually 1 or none. We're already seeing that happen these days. People are getting kids later in life or none. Life before AI. Stable weather patterns. Approaching someone you like in real life. When money was paper. Physical keys and credit cards. I'd about 40 years from now, but I sure miss before cell phones and social media, but growing up in the 90s. Also I'd imagine missing peace and quiet. People now are nostalgic for how, 40 years ago, you could smoke indoors. I think that in 40 years, people will be nostalgic for when you could smoke outdoors. What are you most happy about over the last year? I fixed my years of insomnia and finally feel like a human. Bought my first house with my husband. I survived 2 strokes on November 6th, and am on the road to recovery. I feel profound relief and happiness every time I consider how bad it could have been. My twin brother beat pneumonia, COVID and then cancer. Quitting smoking, 14-year addiction to nicotine gone. That was in April, and just ran my first half marathon in the beginning of this December. Glad to have my life back and fully living my healthiest life. Huge turnaround from my depression that followed my 2020 divorce. For anyone hurting from heartbreak, it can get so much better. My savings account. Over the last 4-5 months I have consistently worked out without skipping a day. I take rest days though. I'm just glad I built that kind of discipline. No longer depressed. How do you let your frustration out? Hitting the gym. I try to keep myself distracted until I'm tired and then I go to bed. Maybe that's the opposite of letting it out though. I let my frustration out by just wanting to be left alone to cry. Gym, gaming, asking my wife to ride me through the bed. I play video games. After killing zombies in State of Survival on my PC, yeah, I don't like it on phone, so I use BlueStacks. I feel relieved and way better than from any other activity. Scream FCCCCCCKKKKKK by talking about it. Venting, you know? Because your brain is like a house. If you don't vent, it's gonna get rotten. Violent moshing while listening to deathcore death metal. Needle felting, you make cute little soft dolls and such by getting a little lump of fluffy wool and stabbing IT mercilessly until IT submits to your will. I eat extra food and play video games. 100 by crying. Lifting heavy ass weights.